the next thing that I want to talk about is striking the ball in the right direction in terms of the shorter putts. What I do is I practice on a thing called a chalk line. Let me show you what they look like. Got one around here somewhere. Ah, here we go. I knew I had one there somewhere. Now, I buy these at Bernie's place, Home Depot, okay? It's a carpenter's chalk line. It's a very simple, it costs about $5, and I highly recommend if you're going to use it a lot, you get yourself an extra can of the chalk, the powder that goes in it. But when I put this chalk line down, and I snap that black line down there, now I have a line that will allow you to see the line. Try to find a straight putt, so one that's going slightly uphill is always good. See, that ball turns a little bit, so that means I've got to move over here more. Still turning. So the actual line, I'm probably going to have to go this way. There's the straight one right there. Didn't think I could make that, did you? Okay, so you can take a tee or a key or something. I always put that behind the flag a little bit so that I've created an angle, so I use the flag as kind of to keep the line taut, and then I put it down, pull it taut, come on, sit down there, and then I snap the line. I'm going to make this line a little darker. Sometimes you have to do that. They're not perfect, these chalk lines. It's going to put a line down on the green. So you can see this line. Now if you come over, you'll see what I've got here. See the black line going right into the cup now? Now, this is a great practicing tool, because now when you see that line, and if you look at the golf balls now, especially that we use the Callaway HX Hot, there's a line on here that's got arrows on it. And the reason they do that, and Titleist does a similar thing with all their golf balls now, is so when you're practicing, you put that line directly on the black line, so you can make it go. Your goal here is to try to make the ball roll straight down the line. Mr. Brooks, why don't you try this? Line your putter up so that the line on your putter is on that line itself. You've got everything lined up perfect to the target, and you make it go straight down the line. Then, after you've made a couple from that distance, you can go back and see if you can do it from a little longer distance, but trying to make them roll straight down the line is critical. So you can see the fact that his club had to be open at impact, that's why he pushed it to the side. Try it again. So no matter how you stroke it, you're going to have to make the ball go down the line. Perfect. And if you practice that, now when I was playing competitively a lot on the mini tours and stuff, I would try to make 100 in a row from 3 feet. And if you miss, you had to start the count over again. I was impressed with the fact that Phil Mickelson went to Jackie Burke, a great player in his own right, and he's taught a lot of the guys on the tour. And he went to Jackie for some putting advice. And Jackie had him do the same thing. See if you can make 100 in a row from 3 feet. Phil was out there almost an hour plus until he was able to get it done. From 3 feet. Because the emotions that go through you and the tension and anxiety that develop when you get to about 85 of having to make every one is not unlike being on the golf course when you got to make that putt for the par or to win a hole. Very important. Ms. Sandler, why don't you just try this as well? Make it go right down the line. Okay, so you can see that one leaked a little bit to the right. So your goal here would be to try to make it go directly down the line.
I didn't like the way I putted.
That's okay. Anytime it goes in, we'll take it.
Okay.
Okay, try it again. Try it again. Down the line. See, when you get to this distance, your goal is to try to make this stroke almost as mechanical as you can make it.
Right.
Because it's such a short stroke, distance should never be the issue.
Right.
The only time distance becomes an issue is if you take too big a stroke and then your brain says, I'm going to hit it too far, so what do? You slow everything down and decelerate it. You don't want that kind of a stroke. You should always take the appropriate length swing so that you can have a smooth acceleration right through the ball.
It's very nice. I like it.
Oh, this is good stuff, these chalk lines.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're ever wondering why these are tough putts from 5 feet, this will tell you when you're struggling to get that ball to go down the line.
I thought
So,
I was a good putter. Guess not.
well, it's a relative thing. Down the line. Okay, so these two drills that I've given you so far have tremendous consequences for you becoming a better player.
Sure.
And if you can work on these lines, and any time if you'd ever like one put down here, let me know. My staff or I can put one down, and I try to keep one down because I'm using one myself most of the time anyway. So usually if you look around, you'll find one or two of them out on this putting green a lot. But these are critical things that you need to work on to become a better player. There is no question about that. Now, I've got a couple other here. Why don't we'll go back here for a minute, have a seat. Why don't you have a seat right here? Yeah, we're filming. I don't think we need to talk about that right now, Michael. The very fact that you're out here dressed inappropriately, we won't talk about that, and Amy will have to edit this out.
Sorry.
Have a seat.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, now, a couple other drills that I want to talk about here. We talked about the long putts. We talked about looking at the target while you're swinging the club, not at the ball. These are all great drills. Now we've used the chalk line here. I have another device. I forgot to bring it with me today, unfortunately, but it goes over top of the chalk line. It's a string. I'll have that for you. I'll show you next time. But I put a string from one end to the other over the cup so that your eyes, when you look down, if you can't see the black line under it, it's because your eyes aren't directly over it. I'll show you that next time. Mark Rubin, our club champ, uses one of those all the time. Great teaching aid to do that. Putting a board down, putting a golf club down. We sell those training sticks in there. Somebody was asking me what they're for. Well, this is what they're for. They give you a line. You can put one down for your feet. You can put one down for the target line. You can put the two so they're so close together that you can't deviate with that putter all over the place. But you have to appreciate the fact that your arms and hands control this stroke. Not your shoulders, because if it was your shoulders, we'd attach them to the club. Your arms make your shoulder move. If you use your lead arm, it makes your left shoulder move, and that's why there's movement there. And I know there's some players, and that's not to say that they're wrong, because I can show you a good player doing everything opposite of what I'm telling you. But the fact is you can't move your arm back without your shoulder moving. And the length of your shoulder that it moves is so small compared to the length of the swing that your arm moves, it would seem to me the best way to focus on it would be through your hands and wrists and arms.